morning. My name is Jennifer Tom.
And I'm Darlene Rimple.
It's Wednesday and we have our coffee on. If you're there, please join us. Grab your coffee. Please join us because today is Wednesday. We're so excited because we'll be talking about how to move beyond the emotional pain of loss. I love that topic so much. And without further ado, I'll let Darlene just tell us a little bit about how to move beyond the emotional pain of loss. How do we do that, Darlene?
Well, in order to do that, we need tools, and we've all gone through losses, and we know that there's like more than 40 losses that people will go through. So we go through losses, and it happens over time. Many of us have gone through lots of losses, some recent, some in the past, and we know that it's full of emotional pain. So whenever we have a loss, it's an emotional event. And even though we try to intellectualize it, we try to go around it, we try to not feel it, it is about emotions and the pain of loss. And so we need tools that will equip us, that will help us move through a loss, that emotional pain, which is what we usually don't want to talk about, but it's what we need to talk about.
Darlene, thank you so much for sharing that because when I went through my own loss, I did not know anything about tools. And please, our friends, when we talk about loss, we're just not talking loss of a loved one. We're talking about loss of faith, loss of career, finances, loss of health. There's so many losses that can affect us. And if we don't have the tools, I feel like we get stuck. This is why I love when, even though we have all the reasons to be happy, even though we have all the reasons to be blessed, we're healthy, we still feel there's something missing. And sometimes you don't realize it's because there's an emotional pain that we haven't dealt with, or it's an emotional pain of loss that we were given the wrong tools. So today we're just excited. I am just feeling so blessed that I've been able to find the tools and we are able to share with you, our friends. And oh my goodness, this is so exciting because even very soon you've heard us talk about we'll be doing stories that heal. Stories that heal. At some point somebody shared the tools. So before we go very far, let's find out some of the tools that work and what tools don't work. Darlene, do you want to share with us about tools? I have an example, but I'll let them.
So again, tools we always talk about the backpack, right? We have this backpack. And it starts when we are children, and we put these losses, these rocks in our backpack, and we need to learn how to pull them out. We need to learn how to take them out of our backpacks. And so we need tools to do that. What we usually do, and what even culture, what we learn to do, is that we ignore them. We try to replace our losses. We try not to feel bad. And so it's like we try to hide that backpack. We try to put it away. We don't want to deal with it. So the tools, like just keep busy, replace the loss, go out and find another one. There's something else you can do. Those kind of tools that we have been using don't help with our emotional pain. And so we end up just carrying these rocks around instead of actually getting them out of our backpack.
I love that so much. I'm being interactive today. We're sharing on my phone. There should be like a phone up here where you can share and not look down. We'll figure it out. Remember, I love the word. It's figure outable. Anyway, yes, Darlene, I love the backpack idea, and we all have that backpack. And I just want to share about like our daughter. I did not realize that we were putting a rock in her backpack. Her pet, her favorite pet died. And because I did not have the tools or I did not know how, we replaced the rock. We were like, oh, don't worry, we're gonna get another pet and we got another pet and she moved on. However, from what we've learned and research has showed, is that she never dealt with that emotional pain of losing that fast pet. So the rock was put in a backpack and we just replaced it. And so those are some of the tools that don't work. Oh my goodness, like how would I, like now I just want to go tell her, honey, let's talk about your fast pet. Let's talk about your, what the things you loved about it and deal with that emotional pain instead of replacing. And that's what we've been taught. I did not even know I'm doing it. And friends, you don't even have to feel guilty that you also do it. We all do it.
We all do it, yeah.
Right? However, that's why we are on this mission to offer the right tools. Because the tools that we were given
Aren't, they don't work.
exactly. So when we talk about tools, it's like you've been given this room to paint and you need a brush and paint and you're given a hammer. That tool will not work. You'll not paint this room using a hammer. That's just an example. So it's the same way that we do when we have the wrong tool. When we learn, and I remember Grief Talk is where we share lessons learned through life and loss. Sometimes when we learn and research and we're aware, we're like, oh my goodness, I use that one too. We still use that.
Yeah.
Another one is that we're told don't cry.
Yeah.
It's okay to cry.
Yeah. It's okay to be sad, right?
Yeah.
We so push those emotions. And then we end up pushing all those emotions down and we end up carrying this huge backpack that weighs us down. And again, our hope is that we live fully, right? When we can unbackpack that backpack, we can straighten up, we can walk through life living fully, right? Instead of weighed down.
I love that so much. So the question to you, my friends, what are some of the tools that work and what doesn't work? I'm sure, as Darlene mentioned, we'll all experience more than 40 losses in our lives. And again, it's not only loss of a loved one, loss of faith, loss of trust, loss of friendship, the list goes on. 40. We should have a list and share
We
that
share
list.
them all.
So with all those lists, what tools have worked for you to deal with that emotional pain or what didn't? So for example, loss of friendship, you can have a friend. We can replace our friend. However, anyway, so that's why our like stronger life connections is where we walk with you and replace those tools. We give you the right tools. Yes, what's a and I love that. I love that. Like, and also we call them myths, darling, right? We call them myths, myths that we've grown with. Like, go cry in your room.
Grieve alone, right? You know it's not okay to cry in front of other people, right? We think there's something wrong if we have to cry, or if we're crying in front of other people. I know, yeah. Like I don't like to cry in front of other people either, and I know that's a that's a myth, right? Because yeah, we've been taught that, we learn that, and we feel uncomfortable when we do that.
So I have a story to share. When I was growing up, we had a very tragic accident in our family, and we had lots of relatives. It was on a Christmas day, and some of my relatives were headed home from a celebration, and there was a big crash, and we lost a lot of family members. This is what that did. We all, or some of us, did not deal with that emotional pain of that loss, which was huge in our family. And I'll tell you what that did to our family. There was a lot of bitterness, there was a lot of anger, there was a lot of blame, and there's a lot of division. And so what that does when there's that big, we did not have tools. I mean, at that time, I didn't even know what tools were. And after that, I actually made it a mission that I will find the tools. I will find those tools so that I can share with my friends that families don't need to be divided. People don't need to live angry because of a loss that happened. It doesn't mean that what happened was really like it was tragic. However, we can move beyond the emotional pain of that tragic accident. And so stronger life connection was created from that, like we both have this calling to find resources and give people the right tools because we all have a story and we know how these losses really shatter our lives. And for us to live fully and build those relationships again, we need to work on the emotional pain of loss. So, do you have a story that you'd like to share with us? We have a link that will be sharing. Be our guest because I like what my friend says. Sharing is scary. Else life. So this is why we've talked. That's why we're here. We're gonna be sharing our stories. That was one tragic event that happened, and it made me go through this call to help people who are walking through grief. And I know you have a story, and now we're gonna hear Darlene's story because again, we all have it, and we want to hear. And Darlene, I am so thankful that we connected and we had the same journey because we've been able to find the right tools. When I look back, I did not have the tools. And now doing the work, finding the right tools has helped me that because losses never stop. Like things do happen. I'm able to grieve or to deal with my emotional pain in the present and I don't feel stuck. And that's why when someone asks me, "How are you doing, Jen?" I always say, "I'm so awesome." Not because I'm so awesome, but it's because I'm using the tools to help me with my day to day. Yeah. So, Darren, let's hear your story, my friend.
Well, I actually kind of stumbled on grief work by accident. I was, well, not by accident, but I had some issues, some hard things happen when I was a teenager. I had some abuse, some things that were very traumatic for me. And so I had shut down a lot of my memories. I remember just feeling flat, feeling like not life. I was just there. I couldn't feel those deep emotions and I couldn't feel those happy emotions. Um, and then I started, and again, what happens, I think, in grief, or at least what happened with me, is because I never talked about it. I didn't feel like I had anyone to talk to, or I didn't even know how to talk about it. I was carrying this heavy, heavy load. And it wasn't until somebody talked to me when I started opening up, I had that safe place when I started pulling out those things that I was able to realize how much they impacted my life. And then I went through a program. I was working in an organization where we were helping people with unplanned pregnancies, and I was able to. There's this program, and it was the first time that I learned that I was grieving. I was grieving so many losses, and that I didn't need. I was medicating. I think we call them sturbing, but I was medicating. I was just doing what I could to survive. And that if we and what I learned was if I dealt with my pain, then I didn't need the medicine. We called it medicine. It was a medicine cabinet, right? We grab things, our strategies, our stirs, our things short term that relieve your pain. And we use those and we keep using them because we have pain in our life. But if when we can get rid of that emotional pain, then we don't need that medicine anymore. And then we can start living fully. We can start living in the present, not living in the past all the time with fear and anxiety. And so I started learning tools, and then that took me on a journey too, right, to help people. And so I've spent a lot of years helping people and learning tools and finding those tools that work. How do we acknowledge our losses? How is so important because keep it inside, it stays there. We have this big backpack, but when we start opening it up and pulling out a rock and saying, "This is what happened. This is what happened," we learn, and we get a different perspective on life. And I think that's one of the important tools that we teach again is how do you tell your story? How do you go through those losses? How do you have and having somebody that you can share it with, a safe person or a safe group that you can share it with. And those things have changed my life. I'm a different person. I can live in the present. I can grieve in the present. I can cry when I'm sad and just live fully in the present. and that's what we're hoping. That's why we want to share, because we want everybody to be able to live fully.
I love that. Thank you, Janine, for joining us in the comment. That's amazing. So we are would love to hear your story. And also, we have an upcoming group that will be starting here October 3rd for 8 weeks. This is where we dive in. This is where we create a safe place and share all the tools. We have a few tools to share with you, and we cannot share in just a few minutes. So we do an 8 week program. We meet at 6:30, and if you're interested or you're local, please check out our website for more resources. It would be amazing to see you in our group.
Yeah, we'll put the link on
Okay, yeah, that's perfect. Thank you, darling. Yeah, we'll put the link, and that's where we'll be diving in. And also, stay tuned because I know some of our friends have been asking if they don't live in our area, how do we get these tools? And we want to just tell you some exciting news that we will be offering this online. So stay tuned for more information because it's going to be online. I think we have a cap of how many numbers can be online because it's intimate, it's a safe group, it's where we share our deep emotional things. And you don't want a big group. We just want an intimate group. So we are starting these groups and we're just so thrilled. We're thrilled because this is our life mission. Life mission. I love it so much. Dylan, do you have something to add?
Just that I know it's scary coming into groups, and sometimes it's really hard, especially coming to that first time if there's people you don't know. But just to really encourage you, it really is a community. We can't grieve alone. We need a community, and when we have a safe place with the right tools, it's amazing how it transforms people. How just it gives when you have that place to share, that place to learn tools, that place where you feel you're not all alone, that you're not the only one. Um, it's a wonderful connection, and that's what we see in groups. Is just that creating that trust and those relationships that it's okay to be where you're at, and that you can move forward with tools and with things. And so yeah, I really encourage you to come to the group if you've been thinking about it, or if you've been scared to come to a group. Please come to the group. And just they're small groups. It's an intimate setting, and it's really a place of healing.
I love that so much. So until next Wednesday, there is a link that we just shared on our chat here. Please join us and connect with us, and just know, yes, we can do hard things.
We can.
We can do hard things, and this is one of them. So until Wednesday, please be blessed, and we'll talk to you soon.